record. Yo, what's happening, players? We're out here with a little small announcement of sorts. We'll be discussing a DuelistGroundz tournament series here that Mr. Pennington here is going to talk to us a little bit about. So I've got the DGZ forums up just now. Got me the link here to the team wars and the ranked war games and stuff that will be that you can be telling us a little bit about. So I mean, go ahead and introduce it.
Okay, so basically what we're doing is some people might be familiar with the warring that Dueling Network did. I don't know if that was something that you personally did, but warring, for those who don't know, is the idea of forming teams of players, and then the teams play against each other for, I mean, usually, just for pride, just to see which one is better. What makes this unique is that we're going to be giving away prizes. The exact amounts has been yet to be determined, but since DuelistGroundz is sponsored by the Game Academy, they have offered to give away store credit every month. And I don't know what amount yet. I'm still sort of like in the process of negotiating the exact amount, but yeah. So that's the idea. So people will be able to play games of Yu-Gi-Oh, and at the end of a season, the best players will win prizes and store credit, and it doesn't cost anything to enter. Anyone can do it.
Alright, tell us about like the formatting first of all. So, how is it set up? Is it like 3v3 or etc. etc.?
So teams will be about 6 to 7 players or so, and the format is the format that we did in the past that worked kind of well for us. It's what we call 6 hearts double elimination. So each team has 6 hearts. When you beat someone on the other team, they lose a heart. But if you lose twice, you can't play anymore. That's so if you're, the worst person on your team, they can't just, beat you 6 times, then no one else on your team will get a chance to play. So, does that make sense?
Kind of. So you have you have like a 7v7 thing set up, and then like you have lives, and each player has 1 life, or
no, a team has lives.
Right.
Each team has 6 lives. So with the setup, it might be the case, I mean, depending on activity, because sometimes, like, maybe one week you just don't really have much time to play. So this way it sort of allows for the people that are most active to play the most games, and the people who maybe just want to play like every once in a while don't have to feel like the war can't continue if they never get on. But, the actual format, I mean, it's not really that important, I should say. The important thing, basically, is that you can join. You will be assigned a team. There will be, a list of players, and you go play those people, and you post your results in the thread. It's fairly straightforward.
Is it like round robin or something? Does each person have to play each other person once, or?
Well, no. So like I said, the way that heart points work is that you can play anyone you want, and once you beat them, the team loses a heart.
Okay.
So.
And how do you pick who? Does the team just put forward a player? For like.
You just see who's online. You see, okay, maybe the other team has 6 people. You see one of them's online, and you ask them to play you because you're both online, right? I mean, that's pretty simple.
Okay. And then from that they lose a life, and you essentially...
Right, yeah. So if I beat them, their team loses a life. If they beat me, our team loses a life, and then we do that. We're aiming that each war is going to last about 10 days.
Okay.
So you do that. Ideally within the 10 days, one team loses all 6 of their hearts. Then you get assigned a different team to play, and then you keep doing that.
Okay. So is there a limit for like each player to play? So I mean, Like you could potentially just put forward like your best player and just be like, okay, you go duel 6 times.
Well, yeah. So like I said, once you lose twice for your team for that war, you're not allowed to play anymore. That's to prevent people from just scoping out like the worst person and only playing them.
So, do you have anything in place to prevent like the best player just picking up wins after the other, win after win?
No, I mean, typically we didn't really care if that happened. It didn't happen that much, and no one really seemed to care. The idea was, I mean, so hopefully someone on your team should be able to beat them, and if not, then, well, I guess they deserve to win. It was just, more of the opposite that we were concerned about, which is, our team overall is better than yours, but you're picking the one person on our team who's not so good and only playing them. And, but yeah, I believe like Heart Point Wars, those have been played on other sites. The rules are pretty straightforward, and the main thing that we're concerned about is we don't want the wars to take a long time, right? Because if you were to do something like Crossfire is another type of war that is commonly played, that takes a long time to play because every single person has to be online for that to work.
Okay. So I mean, I feel like you can just be carried by one player potentially. Like variants and stuff can be a thing, but if you have, let's say you just have like someone really insane in your team, like if I have like Bowden or something on my team and I just get him to play like all 7 players and he just beats them all, like is there anything to prevent that?
Oh, I mean, Bowden was never like that insane when he warred on DuelistGroundz, so that's kind of beside the point.
Okay.
But yes, you could potentially get carried by one good player.
Okay.
But I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh, not chess, right? I mean that typically won't happen. And like last time, for example, when DuelistGroundz warred against Dueling Network, this was obviously like when Dueling Network were still up, we did play a Heart Points war, and I did carry them. Like we played 10 hearts, so each team has 10 lives, so to speak. And I think I took like 6 of their hearts.
All right.
Just because like that's just how the format works, right? I mean, yeah, I was just running good. I mean, that's just sometimes how it goes, right? But sometimes it's more back and forth. It kind of depends. And I mean, I think with any format, it's possible to get carried, right? Because if you do Crossfire, which is Crossfire, for those who don't know, that's like we each have a certain number of players on our team, and then once someone loses, they get eliminated, and then once all players are eliminated, the war's over. I mean, you can carry in that format too, right? Mm-hmm. If your team has 5 players and my team has 5, I can just beat all 5 of your players, then the war's over.
Is it just like winner stays on?
Well, I mean, there's other formats too. I think the one that you're thinking of possibly is Endurance, which that was the format that people used to play like IRL back in way back in the 2007 like IRL things that you had where it was like West Coast versus East Coast, and they have like what it was like 5 versus 5. And then once someone keeps winning, they just keep playing, and then when they lose, you move on to the next person. Crossfire is different. That's where you just each people on the team play against whoever they want until everyone's dead on one team. But the point of this wasn't really for me to get into like all of the specific details of every single possible type of warring format that we could have done.
No, I know.
More to explain what we're doing and why. So we're doing Heart Points because we want the wars to finish quickly. That's essentially why we're doing it this way. Because no one likes playing a war where like one person isn't online and it like holds up the entire war. Like no one likes doing that. It's not fun. So we're trying to make things flexible in a sense.
So how is it set up? Like X number of players enter, or and then you divide them up into teams randomly?
Close. So the way that warring worked in the past on DuelistGroundz, and the way that it works on most places, is that you can just form your own team, right? Like, it'd be like, me and you want to be on a team, and maybe you want, I don't know, like that guy Duncan on our team or something, and then us three, you know, just form our own team, right? That's the way that it would work in the past. Now, historically, the problem with doing that was that, like, all the best players on the site would just form, like, one super team. So, you know, you'd have, you know, whoever, right? Like, you know, Patrick Hovan and, you know, Billy Brake and, you know, Bowden, I guess. Like, they just all form their team. And they're the best team, which is fine. But what would happen is anytime another player on another team would start beating them, they would just add that player to their team. They'd say, hey, do you want to join our super team? And they'd be like, hell yeah, I do. So they just always have the best players, right? Mm. And that wasn't so much of a big deal before. Like, some people didn't like it, but most people didn't care that much because we were just all playing for fun, right?
Yep.
But if we're all playing for money and one team just has a monopoly on the best players, if they control the means of production, so to speak, that's not very fair to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd agree.
Yep.
So to fix that, what we're doing is we're going to have a draft, essentially, which is there'll be, you know, X number of team captains, and it'll work very similar to the NFL, which I don't know if you follow because you're, like, over in the UK, but it would work, like, very similar to the way that system works, which is the more teams win, or I guess I should probably phrase it in the reverse, the more teams lose, the greater their ability to draft better players onto their team, if that makes sense. So it's like a self-balancing system.
Right.
So, like, the actual process is a little complicated, but most players themselves don't need to be concerned with that because they're the ones being drafted, not doing the drafting. And then, you know, the idea is that you'd have all these balanced teams, and then, you know, and you'll be on a team with, you know, maybe like a couple of people that you do know, but then probably also a few people that you don't know. And, you know, you'll make friends with them, you know, hopefully form a good dynamic. And then, you know, at the end of the season, the top teams will go to, like, a playoffs, and then the number one team will win a bunch of stuff. That's the theory, right?
Okay. So, like, let's say, like, there's 10 teams that enter, and then...
yeah, sure.
So you just do you keep playing random teams, or do you keep playing the same team over and over until you eliminated them?
Right, so that's a good question. So for the actual team wars themselves, we will be doing round robin. So if there's 10 teams, you'll play each of the opposing 9 teams once.
Okay.
So, and then, I mean, that makes sense, right? So every, you know, 10 days, you'll just be assigned a new team to play. And it'll be fair because everyone will play the same teams.
And then so it's into this just like elimination. So once your team loses all its hearts, you're out until there's one team remaining.
No. So you play your first war, right? And you either lose or win the war, and then obviously your record is either 1-0 or 0-1. Then you'll play another team, regardless of what your record is, whether you won or lost. You'll play another team, and then you'll either win or lose that war. So now you'll be either 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. And then you'll keep doing that. And then the teams with the best records will go to the playoffs. Just sort of like a normal real life sport, right? If you and I have pro soccer teams or whatever. I mean, I guess I don't know how to do it truthfully, but I assume, every so often they play another soccer team and then they win or lose, and then they keep doing that, and then the ones with the best records at the end advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have okay, you just sounded unsure.
That's cool, I get you.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you wanted to also talk about potentially what dueling simulators we'll be using, because
so
that's probably Yeah, I mean, that's probably a point of contention among people. So, right now we have a thread for the list of approved simulators. And right now there's only two, one of which, unsurprisingly, is our own simulator, which is the last video that I did with you. So that's Lackey DGZ.
Yep.
And
if anyone wants to find out how to find Lackey, I'll leave a link in the description for that video explaining Lackey.
Yeah, we've improved it like slightly since I last showed it to you. Actually, it's maybe like 10% better than it was before. Mm-hmm. So like, I think one thing that you didn't like last time was that the text was too small, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
so we made like all the text bigger, for example. So it's like better for people with bigger monitors. So, but so we're using it because it works consistently, right? I mean, a lot of these other sites, like servers go down. They have various bugs or latency and whatnot. So it's not necessarily the best simulator overall in a broad sense, but it's one of the best for warring because it does everything that you want it to, and it never goes down. And then the second simulator that we're approving is Dueling Book because it's widely popular. Of course, as of making this right now, I believe it's down. But it's it's a decent simulator when it's up and running. I don't personally like it as much as Lackey DGZ, but I'm in the minority opinion on that, and I wanted to have allow any simulator that works, right? Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting that we are not allowing people to use Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and that is because, mainly it's because of the fact that I don't really play too much, so I didn't know this. And I don't know if you knew this, but I guess there's some like exploit where if you're playing like a 2 out of 3 match, after game 1 is over, and you're like playing game 2 or siding for game 2 or whatever, right? After game 1's over, you can go back and view the replay and then know the entire person's deck list, like as you're playing game 2.
Yeah.
Did you know you could do that?
Yeah, because you can like look at the replay and then there's like a website that
right.
you can import it to get the deck list.
Yeah, so obviously, like we can't really allow it for that reason because that's unfair. Mm-hmm. And really, like a lot of our more competitive players, the other issue there is that your opponent now knows like your entire deck list, which a lot of people don't like to just be freely giving away to all of their opponents. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, it has other problems beside that, but that's kind of the one that we're like, well, until they fix this, we just can't really do anything. Mm-hmm. They have other, slight problems where some of the rulings aren't accurate for the TCG, but,
well, anyway, how do we sign up for this then?
So, the other thing that I want to mention is, before we get into that, there's sort of like 2 separate things that kind of go together, right? There's like the warring part, that's like team versus team play. But something that I was, discussing with people, they kind of agreed with me on is, for some people that might not be enough, right? Because if I'm, say for example, I'm playing in a war or whatever, and I have 6 people on the other team that I can contact, and perhaps like they all aren't online, or maybe I've I've already lost twice, so I'm not allowed to keep playing, but I want like something to do that contributes towards the whole DuelistGroundz warring system. So we have like a separate system which we're just calling like casual ranked games, which is that you can add yourself to a list of players, and then you can just play anyone that you want on the list. Like it's not like team versus team, it's just anyone on the list, you see if they're online, and you can duel them, right? And both of these together, like warring and individual play, counts towards like your overall rating in the system. And then at the end of the season, in addition to the top teams getting prizes, the top rated individuals will get prizes. So does that make sense? In other words, it's kind of like the way that Dueling Network rating used to work, right? Like you just play against whoever, and then it counted for rating.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was going to say is that for now, like as of today, you can only sign up for the casual ranked games, the individuals versus individuals. Part of the reason being that we'd ideally like to see how good everyone is before we start drafting people, right? Does that sort of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what I was going to say is the sign up for the warrings doesn't start until Friday, but you can sign up for the casual ranked games now and start playing people. Now, I mean, this just went up like 3 hours ago, so I don't even know if anyone's played yet. And since the dueling book is down, you know, some people don't want to go out of their way to. I mean, some people like haven't installed Lackey DGZ or like built their decks on it yet. So I don't think anyone's played yet because this only went up like 3 hours ago. But the point is that you know, we'll have the signups for the bigger, more exciting team versus team play soon. Right now, you can only sign up for the individual ranked games.
Okay, so how would someone sign up to this? Is there a thread that they reply to? Or?
Yeah, there's a thread. It's in the the link that I gave you, and you know the thread is casual ranked games sign up /match report, because that's also where you report the results of your matches after you play someone. There's another thread called warring signups, but the thread is locked because you can't sign up yet. And then there are various other threads that you can read, like the one that I mentioned with the list of approved dueling simulators. There's another thread where you can see everyone's ranking, but you know, of course, no one's been ranked yet. So we're kind of just getting everything started.
Okay. Well, I guess that runs it up then. So I mean, signups are available from now, right? So.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I'll leave a link in the description to the sign up thing, the thread that you can see on DGZ here. You just need to sign up to DGZ if you don't have an account already on the forum, and then you just post here saying that you want to be signed up, and you're good to go basically. So.
All right. Oh, also, by the way, I wanted to give you a present. I'm going to post it in the chat, okay?
Okay. Also, if anyone needs
There's your present. Do you get the joke?
Oh god. All right, stream. That is.
Make sure that's in the video, please.
That is a picture of a glass cow. Literally, a glass cow. So I'm assuming that's not the prize, but it's close enough.
No, it's not the prize.
All right,
man.
I guess that runs
it was
it up.
good talking to you.
Yep, awesome. So I'll
You
leave
seemed
a
a
link
little
in the
on the tired side, so I hope you get some rest.
Yeah, thanks. So I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to check out the forum post so you can sign up, and I'll leave a link to the description as well to Lackey CCG that you can Lackey DGZ, the program's called, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. So you can check out the other video where I teach you how to set up, and then Adam also helps me go through it and import decks, and it lets you actually find out how to play the game itself. So it's all good. But yeah, that's us. So thanks for watching. Anything else you wanted to add, or is that all good?
Yeah, man, it's all good.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.
All right.